So good morning today, everyone. Today's session is the final session for the Business Law Unit, and we've looked at the element of learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to now look at the assignment discussion, which is the final session. And my name is Shazia Khan. Before I go into the assignment discussion, a little bit on the aims of the unit. So I'll just give you a recap of what we've done in the 4 learning outcomes to then come to the assignment discussion. So the whole aim of this unit, the business law unit, is to make students understand how business law is applied to running of a business organization and the impact of law on businesses and how this impacts on any sort of decision making. So throughout the unit, the students will identify legal issues available to business owners and assess their suitability as well. And they'll also help them to better understand the different areas of law. The unit will also help you illustrate the impact of law on normal businesses and when registering a company or inviting shareholders to invest. So you look at the relationship of shareholders and directors and things like that. So you will also look at the application of employment law for understanding in a business context. So we looked at learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll just give you an overview of what we've looked at in learning outcome 1, which was explaining the judicial system. And here we looked at the legal system. So we looked at the legal system in the UK. We looked at the purpose of law and the evolution of law as well, how it developed. We looked at sources of law, which is legislation, directives, case law, and treaties, which are relevant to the country. We also looked at, in learning outcome 1, at the divisions of terminology of the legal system, so the court structure. We looked at the difference between civil and criminal law with some examples as well. We also looked at the justice system, the role of the government in making the law, and also the organisation of the judiciary. So that was learning outcome 1. In learning outcome 2, we had to illustrate the potential impact of the law on a business. So we looked at the impact of law, why it's so important for any business. We looked at contract, we looked at the formation of a contract, elements of a contract, and terms of a contract, why they're so important for a contract. And also we looked at breaching a contract as well. We, in learning outcome 2, looked at competition law, data protection laws, the tort of negligence, consumer protection, health and safety, and product liability. We then went on to look at the duties of employees and employers. And here we looked at employment contract, employers' obligations, and employees' rights in the workplace. We also looked at managing cases of dismissal, redundancy, discrimination, and health and safety. We then went on to learning outcome 3, which was looking at examining the formation of different types of business organizations. And we looked at the nature and formation of a company. So what we looked at in learning outcome 3 is we looked at unincorporated or incorporated legal structures. We looked at the different types of business structures, which were sole trader, partnership, and registered company. We went on to look at the classification of companies. We then went on to look at the role of Companies House and the digital role as well. We looked at starting up a business organisation and the registration requirements. We looked at the management of companies, so appointment of directors, company secretaries, auditors, and the role of shareholders. We also then went on to look at the application of company law in forming different types of business organisations, so things like raising capital and liquidation as well. We then looked at a brief history of company law with respect to cases, and also looked at development of company law. We then went on to look at learning outcome 4, which looked at legal solutions for different types of businesses, dispute resolution, and we looked at areas of employment, which were contract law, commercial, corporate, breaching of contract. We also looked at contesting damages. We looked at areas of employment, health and safety. We looked at equality of pay, compromise severance, wrongful and unfair dismissal. We also looked at commercial property. We looked at commercial lease transaction, real estate and investment properties. We looked at ADR, which was alternative dispute resolution. And we looked at the role of alternative dispute resolution, civil litigation procedures and funding, tribunals and the role of unions, citizens advised. And these were elements that we looked at in regards to learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is some guidance on your assignment. So when you look at, do's and don'ts for your assignment submission, these are all available on Moodle for you. So you can have a look at this. For example, things like assignment submission, assignment writing guidelines, revised malpractice and AI detection. You need to make sure how you submit your assignment. The assignment submission link is available on Moodle for you in PowerPoint slides where you would link it, submission of the assignment, also writing the assignment. So the importance of the declaration, write your name on the assignment, insert the unit name, insert page numbers and date of submission. Always, put a brief introduction, which we're going to look at, and the plenary at the end of it. It's really important that you understand the malpractice and maladministration policy, which is available on Moodle for you. And that policy identifies, do you know what malpractice and plagiarism is, Keith? What's maladministration? Yeah. Copying, yeah. Collusion, plagiarism, cheating, the use of AI. That policy goes into that, what the process is, what the procedures are, what amounts to plagiarism. So you need to really be looking at that policy, because when you sign the student declaration, it actually says on there that you've read the policy and you followed everything in the policy. The policy is available on Moodle for you with all the details on it. So, the element of identifying what each element means, like what does cheating mean? What does plagiarism mean? What does inappropriate use of AI mean? And, avoid using AI. I mean, for UK varsity, the threshold is 20% and nothing above that. So, AI is not always accurate as well. And so you've got to try to make, avoid using AI. Make sure you reference all your work as well. It's so important you reference all your work, because if you don't reference it, it will come up as plagiarized straight away. So looking at the policy looks at preventative measures that you can take in place, and the investigation process if you go through that policy. Okay, so have a read of the policy available on Moodle for you, so you can look at it in your own time as well. Assignment writing guidance, make sure you've got you're referencing using the Harvard system, and make sure you have a bibliography as well, and also look at making the work more professional, and avoid just copying and pasting things. So we'll go through the assignment discussion. So the first thing on there is the unit aim. So the best thing for you to do is make sure that we went through the unit aim. We'll go through the assignment declaration. Why do you think the assignment declaration is so important? I'll just get it a bit big for you so you can have a look at. Why do you think the assignment declaration? Sorry?
To authenticate your work.
Yeah, what are you doing when you are declaring something on your assignment discussion? On
You're saying that it's yours.
Declaration. Sorry?
You're declaring that it's yours, not anybody else.
And you're also declaring all these things. You're confirming that the work is your own. You've read and understand the college's guidance on plagiarism. Why is referencing so important? Why do you think references?
It's important to to showcase to the assets that you have actually researched.
To showcase that you've done some research and the work that you've submitted is your own. So, you need to fully reference, you need to have commas in place, you need to make sure, you are not using any other's work as well. That's collusion. If you start using other people's work, you are cheating. So you need to make sure you are not using anyone else's work and that you are not colluding, and you are not using also the services of any sort of professional services to identify that they have produced your work. I'll give you an example. We had a student at the university who used like something like SA Bank Online, and the actual organization reported her for cheating, even though they took money off her. So you have to be really, really careful that your work is your own work, because you are signing this declaration to say that you followed the organization's plagiarism policy, and the work you've submitted is your own work and not copied or anything. So it's really, really important you do that. So what information needs to go on the assignment? So your name, your registration number, your tutor's name, word count, date of submission, and your unit level. General information is just about the actual unit being taught on VLE, which is Moodle. All your resources is on Moodle, and you have to register with Pearson in regards to this as well. But all your resources, any sort of additional resources, available on Pearson website, but also available for you on Moodle. Again, plagiarism and collusion. Students must submit and complete work that is their own. Again, it's so important when we look at plagiarism, not anyone else's work. Collusion may occur when students' assignments are similar. You can self-plagiarize as well. You may have used some work for a different assignment that you use again, and that is self-plagiarizing. So make sure you don't self-plagiarize. You use your own work and you submit your own work as well. So at the start of the assignment, table of contents, font size 12, 1.5 line spacing, page numbers to be inserted. It needs to be a Microsoft Word format, not Google format, and if you can download it free on there. Also an introduction, to the assignment. Why is it important to have an introduction in all assignments? Why do you think an introduction is so important? So to introduce the assignment is really, really important. So it makes sure that you're able to identify that what this assignment is about and why you're doing this assignment. You need to make sure you're submitting the right work for that, and making sure everything is online when you submit everything. So also the word count as well. For this assignment, it's 2 different word counts, because it's assignment 1 and assignment 2. So make sure you submit them properly. Make sure you're putting all the assessment criteria in the headings and not changing the wordings of that. So assignment brief and guidance. So the first one we're looking at is assignment 1 of 2. And for this assignment 1 of 2, you will need to look at unit learning outcomes. Learning outcome 1, which is to explain the basic nature of the legal system, and learning outcome 2, which is to illustrate the potential impact on law of a business. Okay, so here we're going to go through the scenario. All this is available on the assignment brief, which is available on Moodle, and I will show you that towards the end as well. So you've got a little bit of an idea of how to look at that. And then you've got the scenario. So we'll go through the scenario. So this is assignment 1 of 2, okay? So in the scenario, you are working in Kingsley Napoli Solicitors firm, which link is there, advising new startup companies on the legal system and key legislation that they are required to know and apply. You have been asked to produce a handbook for new companies in order to support your business and advice and guidance. So your role here you are working as we said, a newly appointed trainee solicitor and consultant. Part of your role is to develop a handbook, which includes the following sections for potential clients and their employees. Understanding the UK legal system and services competencies is critical to your role, as you will be reviewing the services provided by the firm to the new startup companies who may become the firm's client in the future. As a new trainee, you are to help you understand the potential impact of law and different acts and legislation for new startup companies. Focusing on small companies, essentially startup critically evaluate, explain different laws, role of the law and its application for new startups. Evaluate the effectiveness of legal system and recent reforms introduced in legal services sector in 2021. So you are required to, in this assignment 1, you've got 5 parts to it. You are required to produce a handbook which must have the following sections. So you will look at, number 1, an explanation of the legal system, which is in learning outcome 1, which you will look at what the legal system is about, what they do. Then you would look at learning the second part of it, which is an overview of the sources of law, which again is in learning outcome 1, which you look at treaties, legislation, case law, things like that. You need to make sure that you are, each of these is a heading and then you write under the heading, okay? Make sure each of these is a heading and you write your answer under the heading. Make sure that you are, using, not changing the wording, because that's really important that you keep the wording as it is. And then the third one is an explanation of the role of government in lawmaking. And again, that is learning outcome 1. So these 3, 1 to 3 is learning outcome 1. The next one, number 4, is an explanation of key legislation that a new business needs to be aware of. So health and safety, employment law, contract law, that will be in learning outcome 2. And then the 5th one is explain and evaluate the potential implications of law on a business. For example, copyright, contract, employment, etc. And that's looking at learning outcome 2. So the first 3 are looking at learning outcome 1. The second 2 are looking at learning outcome 2. So this assignment 1 is covering learning outcome 1 and 2, as we've just mentioned, okay? So you need to make sure you are looking at slides on them. So these are the key elements that you need to do for learning outcome, the first assignment. So there's 5 parts. Do not change the wording. Have that as a heading and write under that. The delivery and submission here. So you've got to use, the submission is a form of individual handbook. This should be written in a concise, formal business style using single spacing and font size 12. And you are required to make use of headings, paragraphs and subsections as appropriate, and you must be supported with research and reference using Harvard system. Do not use bullet points, please, because it doesn't help the assignment and it's not professional and does not flow. Please also provide a bibliography using the Harvard system of referencing, and the recommended word limit for assignment 1 is 2,000 to 2,500, although you will not be penalized for exceeding the word limit. So make sure, you are sticking to the word limit, even though if you go a little bit over, you won't be penalized for that. So the assignment 1 is 2,000 to 2,500 words. The next one we're going through is assignment 2. Any questions on assignment 1? Okay, assignment 2. So the learning outcomes for assignment 2 is you'll be looking at learning outcome 3, which is to suggest appropriate legal solutions to business problems. And learning outcome 4 is to recommend appropriate legal solutions based upon alternative legal advice provided. So the scenario here is that you have submitted your assignment 1 and your manager is happy with your effort. The manager has now assigned you to advise to start-up companies signed on clients as clients in the FY 2022 who are now running businesses in the Manchester area. There are 3 case studies to review which represent various legal issues and potential areas of problems that you need to be looking at as well and can affect startup businesses. The areas to be considered where law and legislation are appropriate to the startup of companies can be applied. So 1, you need to look at company law, including insolvency and liquidation. Number 2, you need to look at contract law, which is the breach of contract, damages and claims. Number 3, you need to look at employment law, including ADR, which is alternative dispute resolution, and you need to apply all these 3 to the scenarios we'll go through. So, the role. So for each case study presented, you apply and justify a legal solution to the problem. Hello, Keith, are you back on? Keith? Hello? Okay. So you're all here. Keith, are you back on now?
I'm back.
Okay. So I'll just go back to assignment 1 quickly and go through that with you, okay? Because I'll just repeat it. Did you listen to assignment 1 or did you go off after that?
Sorry?
We didn't go through. Did you manage to hear what I said in assignment 1? No. Hello? Hello, Keith, can you hear me now? Keith? No? Hi, Keith, can you hear me?
And I can hear you.
Yeah. So did you go off when I was discussing assignment 1?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go through assignment 1 quickly again. I'll repeat it again, okay? So for
Okay.
assignment 1, you need to look at learning outcome 1 and 2. That covers it. So your scenario for assignment 1, you've got 2 assignments in this part, okay? You've got assignment 1 and assignment 2. So assignment 1, you're working in Kingsley Napoli Solicitors and you're advising new startup companies on legal system and key legislation that they are required to know and apply. You've been asked to produce a handbook for new companies in order to support your business and guidance. Your role here is you are working as a newly appointed trainee solicitor and consultant. Part of your role is to develop a handbook, which includes the following sections for potential clients and their employees. Understanding the UK legal system and services competence is critical to your role, as you will be reviewing the services provided by the firm to the new startup companies who may become the firm's client in the future. As a new trainee, you are able to understand the potential impact of law and different acts and legislation for new startup companies, focusing on small companies, essential startups, critically evaluate, explain different laws, role of law and its application of new startups, and you evaluate the effectiveness of the legal system and recent reforms in the legal services in 2021. So you must produce a handbook, Keith, and they must include 5 sections, okay? This is the same as in your assignment brief. So each section, the first one is an explanation of the legal system, which is in learning outcome 1. The second one is an overview of the sources of law, which is learning outcome 1 again, which looks at legislation, case studies, treaties. Then the Third one is an explanation of the role of the government lawmaking, which again is in learning outcome 1. Then the fourth one is an explanation of the key legislation that a new business needs to be aware of, and that's in learning outcome 2. And then the last one is explain and evaluate the potential implications of law on a business, for example, copyright, contract law, and employment law, etc. And that's learning outcome 2. So make sure you are using this as a heading and not changing the wording, Keith, and write your answer under each one, okay? Do you understand that? Is there any
Yes, I do.
questions on any of them?
No.
No. So make sure you're using that as a heading and writing the answer under it, okay? And no bullet points or anything. So make sure you are, your work is in the form of an individual handbook, and it's written, it's concise, formal business style using font size 12. You are required to make use of headings, paragraphs, and subsections as appropriate, and your work must be supported and referenced using the Harvard system. You must provide a bibliography, and the recommended word limit is 2,000 to 2,500 for only assignment 1, okay? So if you're looking at that, it's about 500 for each one because there's 5 parts. If you do anything a little bit over, you will not be penalized. It says here the recommended word count is 2,000, 2,500, although you will not be penalized for exceeding the total word count limit. Just don't go too much over, okay? Any questions on assignment 1? Keith, any questions on assignment 1?
No questions.
Okay. So the next one is assignment 2, which covers learning outcome 3 and learning outcome 4. So here you have a scenario. So you have submitted your assignment 1 and your manager is very happy with your effort. The manager has now assigned you to advise to startup companies signed on a client in FY22 who are now running businesses in Manchester area. There are 3 case studies to review which represent various legal issues and potential areas of problems which can affect the startup businesses. The areas to be considered where law and legislation appropriate to startup companies can be applied to: firstly, company law, including insolvency and liquidation; secondly, contract law, which will be breach of a contract or damages and claims; and thirdly, employment law, including ADR. So your role here, for each of the case study, you need to apply and justify a legal solution. So you'll be looking at company law, contract law, employment for each one. So we'll go through the case studies. The first one: John works as a salesman in Blue Tech Solution store. His contract of employment provides for an annual salary of 10,000 and commission payments at 9% on any tech products he sells. In the last 3 years, the commission payments have averaged 11,000 per annum. In 2015, due to intense competition, the local market, the business faces financial difficulty. The manager, Susan, informs John about the situation and requests him to forego his salary for 2015, 2016, and 2017 and rely solely on commission payments. Susan explains that this is necessary for the business to survive and prevent substantial debts to creditors. John agrees to the contract variation along with other staff. By 2016, the economy begins to improve, and with government incentives for the tech industry, Blue Tech Solution manages to trade its way out of challenging times and generate healthy profits. Given the positive circumstances, John believes he should receive his wages for 2017 in addition to his commission as agreed in 2015. He also wonders if he can claim the wages he agreed to forego in 2015 and 2016, considering the company's profits. In the context of employment law, including alternative dispute resolution, I would advise John that his ability to obtain wages for 2017 and claim for foregone wages from 2015 and 2016 would depend on specific terms of the contract. Any subsequent agreement or negotiations are applicable employment laws in his jurisdiction. It is advisable for John to consult an employment law specialist to explore alternative dispute resolution options to seek a resolution in this matter. So what kind of things would you look at here, Keith? Would you look at mediation?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Yes, mediation with the managers. You would look at the employment law, ADR, the process. You would look at if they don't mediate, through, then they would have to go to court. So these are the elements you would need to cover. Is that okay for that case study? Are you okay with that one, Keith?
Yes, I'm okay with this.
Okay, we'll go to case study 2. Case study 2. After conducting online research, Sarah decided to contact Sky Broadband to arrange purchase and installation of an internet package priced at £35 per month, which included 4 lines with a monthly line rental of £11. An engineer arrived as scheduled at 9 a.m. and installed the internet service. However, the engineer faced difficulty in locating the telephone point on the switchboard and suggested that he would contact his supervisor and return later. Sarah potentially waited until 5 p.m. on that day, but the engineer never came back to complete the task. Frustrated, she contacted Sky Broadband to lodge a complaint about the engineer's behaviour and the fact she did not have a working phone line. After several calls and emails, another engineer was sent to fix the phone line, but it took approximately 3 weeks. When Sarah received the invoice from Sky Broadband, she noticed she'd been charged for the entire package from the day the internet was installed, including a monthly phone line rental. Sarah is extremely upset. She believes the phone line should not have been charged only after 3 weeks. To analyse the legal position, the service provider Sky Broadband and the consumer Sarah, based on contract law principles, it would be necessary to consider the terms of conditions contract between both parties, including any specific provisions relating to installation, service delays and billing. Additionally, it is crucial to examine any representation or assurances made by Sky Broadband during the sales process regarding the installation and billing arrangement. The legal position would also depend on statutory consumer protection laws that may be applicable in the jurisdiction. In order to provide a comprehensive analysis of legal position, a thorough review of contract law, applicable laws, and relevant case precedents would be required. It is advisable for Sarah to seek legal advice and explore alternative dispute resolution options to address her concerns and seek a resolution in this matter. So are you okay with that one, looking at contract law and ADR and any sort of elements of, consumer protection?
Yes.
Yeah? You okay with that, yeah?
Good.
Excellent. So case
Yes.
study 3. Security Shield Limited is a security company that provides security guards to various businesses, one of which is your client. The company employs 50 individuals and its primary cost is the wage expenditure for its employees. Unfortunately, Security Shield Limited encountered a significant setback when its largest customer defaulted, leaving them in bad debt of £100,000. Despite recovering their previous level of turnover over the past 3 months, the company now relies on 10 customers instead of 4. The cash flow reduction resulting from the bad debt forced Security Shield Limited to delay payments to their creditors, one of whom filed a winding up petition 2 weeks ago. The court has scheduled a hearing in 3 weeks to determine whether winding up order will be issued. In order to avoid compulsory winding up, the client has several options to consider. Firstly, negotiating with creditors, so Security Shield can engage in discussions with its creditors to establish alternative payment arrangements such as extended payment terms or a revised repayment plan. Demonstrating a commitment to honouring outstanding obligations can help alleviate concerns and potentially halt the winding up proceedings. Securing additional financial, the company may explore options for obtaining additional financial, such as securing a loan or seeking investment from external sources. This infusion of funds can improve cash flow and enable the timely settlement of outstanding debts. Implementing cost reduction measures, Security Shield could analyse its operational costs and identify areas where expenses can be reduced without compromising the quality of services provided. This could involve streamlining operations, renegotiating supplier contracts, or optimizing internal processes. Seeking legal advice, it's crucial for Security Shield to consult with legal professionals who specialize in insolvency and corporate law. They can provide guidance on specific circumstances and potential legal remedies available to them to avoid winding up. By explaining these options and taking appropriate action, Security Shield can potentially prevent any sort of compulsory winding up and work towards stabilizing its financial position. It's advisable for the clients to consult a qualified legal and financial advisor to determine the most suitable course of action for the specific circumstances. So you now need to file a report to your manager outlining the advice given in relation to the local client companies for the legal problems faced in case study 1, 2, and 3. Your report should contain the following. You should suggest an appropriate legal solution for each of the problems in the case study. You should provide justification for the advice and solution given. You should analyze the assessment of the positive and negative impact of the solution you are suggesting to the business. You should recommend, number 4, legal solutions based on different countries' legal system and or alternative legal framework. Number 5, you then need to compare and contrast the effectiveness of these recommendations. And number 6, finally, you need to critically review and evaluate the use of appropriate legal solutions suggested in comparison with alternative legal advice. Do you understand that? For the 3 case studies, you need to do all that, Keith?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So the delivery and submission for the 3 case studies is in a form of a report on individual cases. This should be written in concise, formal business style using single spacing and font size 12. You are required to make use of headings, paragraphs, and subsections as appropriate. All your work will be supported with research and referenced using Harvard system of referencing. Please provide a bibliography using the Harvard system referencing, and the recommended word count is 2,000 to 2,500, which I'm going to recheck for you on here because business law, the word count for assignment 2 is, just 1 minute. I'll recheck everything for you so you've got a little bit of an idea. So the word count for assignment, the assignment itself is, just 1 minute. Just going to come up, just the assignment brief. So the word count for assignment 2 is the actual same, I think it is. Yeah, it's 2,000 to 2,500. So it's the same as assignment 1, okay? So you need to make sure you stick into the word count, okay? For both the tasks, you need to reference using Harvard system of referencing. So make sure you are sticking to using Harvard system of referencing, and a comprehensive Harvard system bibliography is needed, okay? General advice, you should consult the grading criteria on the assignment brief, which is available on Moodle. You look at the learning outcomes, answer what you are supposed to answer. Do not go over a board, and make sure you are not changing the wording. Make sure your work is presented in standard English, word process, double line space, and show clarity. The work must demonstrate relevance and breadth of reference to appropriate literature. Referencing should be Harvard referencing system, which is available as guidance on Moodle for you. Word count, an assignment can be submitted with a word count of 10% either way. For example, if your assignment is 2,500 words, then you can submit a word count of 2,200 to 2,750 words. The word count excludes quotations and references, and it does not include the references of appendices. Confidentiality, you should ensure all your work you submit maintains confidentiality and anonymity. And the interest of confidentiality, please ensure your work does not identify individuals, either colleagues or students or organizations. You may submit copies of document prepared during the course of work, but names may be removed. Okay, that's due to confidentiality. Some assignment guidance here for you. Make sure your work, you have an introduction and a basic conclusion. Make sure again, and I'm going to reiterate this, you use Harvard system for referencing, and that is a link that you can go onto to help you use it. If you're using diagrams, please make sure you reference them. Make sure you have a bibliography reference list and it's in alphabetical order. Make sure you don't change the assessment criteria and leave the wording as it is. And you need to be referring to indicative content all the time. Like we said earlier, give proper headings, subheadings, avoid using bullet points, make your document look presentable and professional, follow the numbering on the assignment, ensure at least 12 to 15 references, and references should be in Harvard referencing. Keep a word count on your, keep a check on your word count and make sure it's 20% threshold for AI. Below that, word count for both assignments, assignment 1 and assignment 2 is 5,000 words. And make sure, again, 20% tolerance, and that you are, make sure you want to identify what grading you want to achieve when you submit the assignment. Again, read the task carefully, focus on the command verbs, and make sure you are using Harvard system, and make sure you are giving proper headings and subheadings like we mentioned. Make sure your document looks presentable and professional. Word count 10%, 5,000 word with 10% flexibility, and plagiarism AI needs to be below 20%. You need to make sure you are not copying and pasting anything, because that is referred to as plagiarism and academic misconduct. Make sure you read the academic misconduct policy, which is available on Moodle, and the guidance on submitting assignments. Again, make sure you use Harvard system and reference all your sources. Make sure you check your grammar and spelling. And this is really important because I've looked at some people's work when I've been marking and they've used American style English, like organization with a Z when it should be with an S. Refer to any ebooks, any sort of additional sources, any guidance on assignments or journals or anything available on Moodle for you. Okay, Moodle is the main source where you will get additional information, and your declaration and things like that, all available on Moodle. If you're using UK Varsity slides, then referencing would be in text as MDT 2022. In your bibliography, it will be multidisciplinary teams. Learning Outcome 1, slide number 2 to 10, UK Varsity, published on 15th of December 2023. Okay, you have 2 weeks to submit after the completion of today's session, and you will have to submit. If you have any questions or anything, learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Submission of your assignment to be done on learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Remember, you have 2 assignments, okay? So you have assignment 1 and then assignment 2. Each one has its own word count, which is again the same for both assignments, 2,000 to 2,500, and then assignment 2 is the same. Make sure you are looking at the case study and putting headings in so it's clear, and make sure you are answering what they are expecting you to answer, not just what you want to answer, okay?
Okay.
Let me just show you the assignment brief again. I don't know if it's going to come up. Okay, so this is, let me just stop sharing that. And then this is how it looks on the, so this, can you see this? This is the assignment brief, okay? So this is the assignment brief for assignment 2, okay? And there's the same one for assignment 1, okay? And I've just copied everything off here. You can use this or you can use my slides. I've just copied everything off here for that. So this is for assignment 2. It gives you more clarity in that one because it gives you more information. So maybe refer to the assignment brief that's available on Moodle for you as well. That would help you and support you. The one on, it's exactly the same, but can you see this now? Assignment 1? Yeah. Maybe.
No. Okay.
You can. Let me just 1 minute. So this is assignment brief, and this is assignment 1, and this is exactly what it looks like on Moodle. So can you see that assignment 1?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
No, I
is
can't see.
exactly. You can't see it. 1 minute. Let's just go back onto it, Keith. Share Windows. Assignment brief. That must be. Can you see it now, Keith?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know why you can't see, but they're all available. The assignment briefs are all available on Moodle for you, okay? So if you have
Okay.
any issues around the assignment, they're all available on Moodle for you. Have you got any questions around this assignment discussion session?
So far, no.
Are you sure? If you have any questions or anything, we've finished the session now. We've finished the unit. You've got 2 weeks to submit the completion of the unit and its delivery. So you've got the assignment 2 weeks. If you need extra time or you have any issues, please email learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk and submit your assignment on learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. And if you have any queries or any questions, just email them. And good luck with getting on with the assignment, Keith.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for attending the sessions. And these sessions are all recorded now, so that it will all be available on Moodle for you.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Thank you for that. Take care. Good luck with getting on with the assignment. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.